Animal House.
Yes.
How did they convince you to be in that film? Because it was a small role, and were you surprised at how big a success that was?
I did a movie called Kelly's Heroes, and the gopher on that movie was a young fellow named John Landis. MASH came out when I was over in Yugoslavia, and it became a big success while I was out of the country. And he said, and I said to him, you're going to be a director every movie you make until you become successful. I'll be in it. And I'll do it for, whatever. So I was in Kentucky Fried Movie. I was in something else. I was a waiter in Kentucky Fried Movie. He phoned me up. I said, I need you for a day in Animal House. I said, fine. I was doing Invasion of the Body Snatchers, so I just had to come over for a weekend. And he said, they want to give you 2% of the profits. I said, no way. This is a Universal picture. Universal has to pay me my daily rate. So they paid me my daily rate. I got 2 days daily rate instead of 2% of the profits, which would have been $2-3 million. Really bright. And worse than that, as a stupid joke for him, just for John, it's a stupid joke for him, I took my underwear off and lifted my shirts only as a joke for the set. My wife could kill me. You have my ass all over the world. And he used it, and it was just as a joke for the Rushes,
Now, you had a small role as a pledge being recruited by one of the fraternities. Now, what impact did that film have on your career?
None. Really, it had very little impact on my career whatsoever. The only thing that was kind of helpful about that film was that it helped me get an agent who then didn't get me work, but it did help me get an agent. So it was helpful in that way.
Peter, let's talk about a film that you made early in your career. It was a huge hit, Animal House.
Mm-hmm.
When you made that movie, was it taken for granted on the set that it was going to become a hit?
No, we basically, first of all, it was most of our first movie. Most of our first movie, well, whatever. And I think that what we felt was that we were doing something that was a lot of fun to make, and it was funny to watch the other actors work, but nothing like that movie had come around in a while, and I don't think anybody really knew. Remember Jaws was the first of those big splashes in '75, and '77 was Star Wars. So we were still in the early stages of this blockbuster idea. And who was going to go see a movie about irresponsible college kids? So I think everybody was surprised.
It was funny. I remember, I think the year after, every TV network had
some kind, sure.
Or an Animal House. One of them had a couple of the cast members, I believe.
It was called Delta House, I think, yeah.
How much pressure did you face about getting you to sign to do a TV show?
It wasn't much. They asked, but I wasn't interested, just for whatever silly reasons I had. It wasn't a lot of pressure.
Okay. Did you have to get pretty selective after that Animal House, or were you being offered the same type of...
To tell you the truth, I wish I could have been more selective. There wasn't a lot coming my way after Animal House. I think back then, there were different types of movies being made, and I wasn't 21, even though I played a 21 or 22-year-old. There weren't a lot of interesting parts for that age group. It wasn't until like 82, 3, 4 when people who were 19 to 23 were starting to get leads in movies because they were making them. So there wasn't a lot.
I interviewed one of your former co-stars, Peter Riegert, not too long ago, and we talked about Animal House. His feelings were that when they made the film that he didn't think it was going to be a big hit. Your feelings on that film, and how long after that movie came out did people still quote lines to you from it?
Oh, they still quote lines now. It's amazing because we basically, spent 6 or 7 weeks total, whatever that is, 20 years ago, doing this story, and it's an amazing thing that it's become a kind of signature event in so many people's lives, and even now people do.
What do they say to you?
They quote lines from it, and I don't remember what we said, and often I don't know what they're talking about. I think they're crazy.
And I've always been fascinated when theatrical films make the transition to television, when they're shown on TV for the first time. When Animal House was premiered, I thought, oh, this is going to look terrible, all this stuff will be cut out. And I saw that you had filmed alternate versions of scenes. Now, was that your decision, and is that something that you still do with your movies?
No, first of all, that was not my decision. That was the studio. They always did that. I don't know if you know this, but Hollywood Pictures, shot a lot of nude stuff in the 60s and even the 50s for Europe, but not for here. There was always alternate versions.